this video is about. The single dad was evicted. Then his daughter found a letter worth millions. If this story touches your heart, please like the video and share your thoughts in comments. Jack Thompson stood at the edge of the sidewalk, watching the last of his belongings being loaded into the back of a rusty old pickup. Each thud of the box against the metal bed felt like another piece of his heart being chipped away. He glanced over at his 8-year-old daughter, Emma, who sat cross-legged on the grass, her pigtails bobbing slightly as she stared at the ground, lost in thought. "Hey, kiddo," Jack called, attempting to inject a note of cheerfulness into his voice despite the knot in his stomach. "You think we've got everything?" Emma looked up, her blue eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "I think so, Dad." Her voice was small, an echo of the uncertainty that had enveloped their lives over the past few weeks. "Do we have to leave the treehouse?" Jack's heart sank. The treehouse was a relic from happier times, a place where he had crafted a world filled with adventure and magic for Emma. It was a rough-and-tumble construction made from reclaimed wood, but to Emma, it was a castle, a spaceship, and all the places her imagination could take her. I think we're going to have to, Em." He forced a smile, squatting down to her level. "But we can build you a new one wherever we end up, better and bigger. What do you think?" She shrugged, unconvinced, and glanced back at the treehouse, her fingers nervously fiddling with the hem of her favorite yellow dress. Jack's heart broke a little more. She had been so brave during this whole ordeal, yet how could he possibly explain the complexity of adult problems to her? "Come on, let's grab one last look at it together," he said, taking her small hand in his. They walked over to the treehouse, its worn steps creaking under their weight. The wood smelled like summer, fresh, warm, and alive. Jack took a deep breath, his mind swirling with memories of laughter and tea parties, of pirate battles and secret codes. "Remember when we pretended it was a spaceship?" Emma whispered, her small voice trembling with nostalgia. "And we were flying to Mars." "Of course I do," Jack replied, his voice thick with emotion. "And we definitely had the best snacks on the journey. Space ice cream and sour gummies, right?" Emma's face brightened for a moment, a flicker of the happiness that had once filled their home. "Yeah, and we fought off aliens with our laser beams." Jack chuckled softly, wrapping his arm around her shoulders. "I think we can take those memories with us, you know. The adventures don't need a treehouse. Maybe we can get a dog too," Emma suggested, her eyes sparkling with hope. "So we won't be lonely." Jack felt a swell of determination. "Absolutely. A big dog, one that can help guard our new castle." As they descended the treehouse, Jack felt the weight of reality pressing heavily on his shoulders again. The eviction had come suddenly, like a thunderstorm rolling in on a sunny day. After losing his job at the car dealership due to budget cuts and barely scraping by for months, the landlord had finally had enough. The sound of the pickup truck jolted him back to the present. The driver, an older gentleman with a graying beard and a baseball cap, gave him a nod of encouragement, sensing the upheaval in the air. "Everything will be all right, son," the man said, his voice gravelly yet warm. "You just keep your head up." "Thanks," Jack replied, grateful for the small comfort. He turned back to Emma, who was now inspecting the last box being loaded. It was a dusty old trunk that had belonged to Jack's mother. He hadn't thought about it much, but he remembered she had spoken of it containing treasures from her youth, a few keepsakes, letters, and maybe something more. "Can I help?" Emma asked, her curiosity piqued. "Let's take a look," Jack said, his own interest ignited. "Maybe we'll find something really cool inside." As they carefully opened the trunk, dust swirled around them, catching the late afternoon sun. Inside were a collection of worn photographs, delicate letters tied with fraying ribbons, and an old, leather-bound journal. Emma pulled out a small envelope that had been tucked between the pages of a book. It bore the faint scent of lavender, instantly reminding Jack of his mother's perfume. "What's this?" Emma asked, tilting her head. Jack took the envelope, turning it over in his hands. It was sealed with a wax stamp which instantly sparked his curiosity. "I'm not sure. It looks old. Let's open it together." With a slight tear, he broke the seal, unfolding the letter inside. As he read, his hands began to tremble. The words blurred in and out of focus, but the message was clear. It was a letter from his mother to a man named Harold, discussing a rare collection of paintings hidden in a storage unit. "Dad, what does it say?" Emma's small voice broke through his haze of disbelief. Jack's throat was dry, the weight of the words heavy on his chest. It says there's a collection of paintings that could be worth a lot of money, thousands of dollars." Emma's eyes widened, her disbelief quickly morphing into excitement. "Are we rich now, Dad?" He chuckled, though his heart raced. "Not yet, but it could help us find a new place to live. We'll have to figure out where this storage unit is." "Can we go find it?" she asked, her spirit reignited with the prospect of adventure. "Absolutely," Jack replied, feeling a flicker of hope. "Tomorrow we'll go on a treasure hunt." As they finished packing the last of their belongings, a sense of purpose began to settle over Jack. For the first time in weeks, there was an inkling of excitement amid the chaos. The dawn of a new possibility awaited them, and maybe, just maybe, they could turn this misfortune into their greatest adventure yet. Jack glanced down at Emma, whose face glowed with anticipation and curiosity. "No matter what happens, we'll figure it out together, okay?" "Okay, Dad," she said, squeezing his hand tightly. As they walked away from their old home, leaving behind more than just a treehouse and memories, Jack held the letter tightly in his pocket, a newfound determination coursing through him. Life had knocked them down, but they were far from out. They had each other, and that was a treasure worth more than any paintings could ever be. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in vibrant hues of orange and purple, a reminder that the best adventures often began with a leap into the unknown. Jack smiled, knowing that somewhere in that uncertain future, hope awaited with open arms. The next morning dawned bright and crisp, the kind of sunlight that filtered through the curtains with a promise of new beginnings. Jack stirred awake to the sound of Emma's quiet humming coming from the makeshift living room of their temporary home, a small, cramped motel room that felt both foreign and familiar. It was a stark contrast to the comfort of their old place, but it was shelter, and for now it was enough. "Dad," Emma's voice cut through the morning stillness, laced with an excitement that was perhaps too big for her small frame. "Can we start looking for the paintings today?" Jack rubbed the sleep from his eyes, his heart fluttering at the sight of her bright, hopeful face. "Absolutely, kiddo. Just let me grab some breakfast first and we'll head out." The motel's continental breakfast consisted of stale donuts and lukewarm coffee, but Jack did his best to make it feel special. He poured Emma a cup of chocolate milk and snagged a couple of donuts, presenting them with a flourish. "Voila, the finest breakfast in the land." Emma giggled, her laughter echoing through the small room. "You're the best chef, Dad." As they ate, Jack's mind was churning. The letter had sparked a fire within him, but doubts lingered. What if the paintings weren't there? What if they were worth less than expected? The string of what-ifs tangled with the threads of hope, but he pushed them aside, reminding himself that every adventure started with a leap of faith. "Do you think the paintings will be really pretty?" Emma asked, her mouth full of donut. The crumbs dusted her little cheeks, adding to her charm. Jack smiled, the image of the paintings forming in his mind as he considered his mother's words. "I think they will be stunning. Your grandma had a great eye for art, even if she never had the chance to showcase it." Emma tilted her head, her curiosity piqued. Did she paint them? No, I think she collected them. There was a time when art was her greatest passion. Jack's voice softened as he thought back to the few conversations he had shared with his mother about her love for art. The way her eyes would light up when discussing famous painters, the way she'd paint vivid images with her words. She always believed art could tell stories. Maybe these paintings have stories of their own. Like our adventures, Emma asked, her eyes twinkling. Exactly like our adventures, he replied, his heart swelling with pride. Let's make our own story today. With determination radiating from both of them, Jack and Emma finished breakfast and set off to explore the storage facility that had been mentioned in the letter. The directions were vague, but they were armed with curiosity and resolve, which felt like enough for the moment. The facility was located in an older part of town, where the buildings had seen better days, their paint peeling and windows cracked. As they pulled into the gravel parking lot, Jack could feel the weight of uncertainty settle in his stomach. Was this really going to lead them to a fortune? Look, Dad, that one. Emma pointed to a tall, weathered building with a crooked sign hanging above the entrance that read "Storage Units Available." Let's check it out, he said, trying to sound confident. They walked up to the entrance, the gravel crunching beneath their feet, and entered the small office where a bored-looking woman sat behind a desk cluttered with papers and a half-eaten bag of chips. "Can I help you?" she asked, barely looking up. Jack cleared his throat. "Hi, we're looking for a storage unit that belonged to my mother. She may have rented it under the name Doris Thompson." The woman glanced up, her brow furrowing slightly. "Doris Thompson, I remember her. She had a few units here, but it's been a while." She tapped her fingers on the desk, her eyes scanning through a ledger. "Let me see if I can find the records." Emma stood beside Jack, her small fingers entwined with his, her excitement bubbling beneath the surface. "What do you think we'll find?" she whispered, bouncing on her toes. "I don't know, but we'll find out soon," Jack replied, his heart racing. After what felt like an eternity, the woman finally looked up. "Looks like she had 3 units. One of them is still accessible. The other 2 were cleared out long ago." "Can we see the one that's accessible?" Jack asked, his hope reigniting. "Sure, follow me." She led them outside, and Jack felt the air thick with anticipation. Emma's eyes sparkled as they approached the closest unit, its metal door rusted and slightly ajar. "Here we are," the woman said, pulling the door open. A shuffling sound echoed from within, and Jack stepped inside, Emma close behind him. The unit was dim and musty, old furniture piled haphazardly alongside boxes sealed with yellowing tape. The familiar scent of dust and age enveloped them. Jack scanned the room, his heart pounding with a mix of hope and fear. "Where do we start?" "Let's check those boxes over there," Emma suggested, pointing to a stack near the back. As they rummaged through the boxes, finding only old clothes and forgotten toys, Jack felt the flutter of disappointment in his chest. What if the paintings were never here? Maybe it had been a mistake to get his hopes up. "Dad, look," Emma exclaimed, pulling out a small, ornate box. Its surface was intricately carved, the wood polished to a warm sheen. "That's beautiful," Jack said, taking the box from her. It felt heavy in his hands, the craftsmanship exquisite. "Let's see what's inside." With a careful flick of the latch, the box creaked open. Inside lay a collection of delicate jewelry, necklaces, rings, and a brooch that sparkled in the faint light. "These must be Grandma's," Emma breathed, her eyes wide. "Do you think they're worth a lot?" Jack wasn't sure, but he could feel a flicker of hope reignite. "They might be. We'll get them appraised later, but let's keep looking. We're on a treasure hunt, remember." As they continued to sift through the boxes, Jack felt the weight of his worries begin to lift, replaced by the joy of discovery and connection with Emma. They shared stories and laughter, their spirits rising with each new find. There was a weathered album filled with photographs of Jack's childhood, showing a smiling family in front of their old home, and a collection of letters penned in his mother's elegant script, reflecting her thoughts and dreams. "Dad, look at this one." Emma pointed to a letter that had been tucked between the pages of the album. "It's addressed to you." Jack unfolded the letter, his breath hitching as he recognized his mother's handwriting. The words flowed like a gentle breeze, sharing her love and hopes for him, her dreams for his future. "I think she wanted you to know how proud she was of you," Emma said softly, watching Jack read. Tears pricked at his eyes as he absorbed the words. "She always believed in me, Em, even when I didn't believe in myself," he whispered, feeling the warmth of her presence wrap around him like a blanket. "Maybe she believed you'd find this treasure," Emma suggested, her voice brightening. "And then we can be rich." Jack chuckled, wiping his eyes. Maybe this is the treasure she meant, not just the paintings, but the memories and love we're uncovering. After what felt like hours of digging through the forgotten relics of his mother's life, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that they were getting closer to uncovering the hidden paintings. With each item they found, hope burgeoned in his chest, and he realized that even if the paintings were never found, they had already discovered something much more valuable, a deeper connection to his family, a bond between father and daughter that was growing stronger with each shared moment. "Let's finish this up and see if we can find the last box," Jack suggested, his voice brimming with excitement. As they worked, Emma's laughter filled the space, a melody that made the dim unit feel alive. With each box they opened, Jack felt lighter. Even in the face of uncertainty, he was reminded that they were not alone. They had each other, and that was worth more than any fortune could ever be. "Look," Emma exclaimed, pulling out a dusty, flat box that appeared to have been tucked away for years. "What's this?" "Only one way to find out," Jack replied, his heart racing as he kneeled beside her. He wiped away the layers of dust, revealing an intricate design on the top. As he opened it, a chill ran down his spine. Inside lay several rolled canvases, their edges frayed but still intact. "These could be it," he breathed, carefully unrolling the first canvas. The colors burst to life in the dim light, revealing an enchanting landscape that seemed to dance before their eyes. "This is beautiful," Emma gasped, her eyes wide with wonder. "Are we really going to be rich?" "Let's not get ahead of ourselves just yet," Jack said with a smile, his heart swelling with pride. "But we've definitely found something special." As they continued to unveil the canvases, each one more breathtaking than the last, the atmosphere in the storage unit shifted, charged with a sense of discovery that was almost electric. The canvases seemed to breathe, rich blues and vibrant greens depicting landscapes that felt alive. Jack could almost hear the whispers of his mother in the colors, urging him to see what lay before him. "This one looks like a forest," Emma exclaimed, pointing to a canvas depicting an ethereal grove, sunlight filtering through the canopy in a way that made the leaves shimmer. "Can we hang it up in our new home?" Jack chuckled softly, the thought of a new home contrasting sharply with their current situation. "If it's worth anything, we might need to sell it, but I promise we'll find a place where we can display it, right next to a new treehouse maybe." Emma giggled, her laughter brightening the dim room. "And a big dog." "Of course," he replied, his heart swelling with affection at her unwavering optimism. It was a beacon in the midst of uncertainty. "A big dog who will guard our art and our adventures." They worked through several more canvases, each one revealing a different world. One depicted a stormy sea, waves crashing against jagged rocks, while another showcased a serene meadow bursting with wildflowers. Their imaginations ran wild with possibilities, and for the first time in weeks, Jack felt a semblance of hope. "Dad, can you tell me about Grandma?" Emma asked, folding her legs beneath her as she sat cross-legged on the floor. "You told me she loved art." Jack paused, taking a moment to gather his thoughts. "She did. Your grandma was a dreamer. She saw beauty in everything. She'd take me to galleries and talk about how every painting told a story. Sometimes she'd even try to paint herself." "Did she paint like these?" Emma gestured to the canvases. "Not quite like these. She had her own style, soft and delicate. But the way she spoke about art made it feel alive. I think that's what I miss the most about her. The way she could look at something and transform it into a story, just with her words." Emma nodded, her small brow furrowed in thought. Maybe that's why she wrote letters, to tell stories. Jack smiled, touched by her insight. Exactly. She loved sharing her thoughts. It was her way of connecting with the world, and now, through these paintings, we can connect with her again. Lost in the moment, they continued unrolling the canvases, each stroke of paint revealing something new. Finally, they reached the last piece, a large canvas rolled tightly, almost as if it had been waiting for the right moment to be unveiled. "Ready?" Jack asked, his heart racing. "Ready," Emma replied, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. As Jack began to unroll it, his breath caught in his throat. The canvas revealed a breathtaking scene that seemed to encapsulate the very essence of life. Vibrant cityscapes intertwined with tranquil nature, a juxtaposition that painted a portrait of harmony. The colors exploded in a way that was both chaotic and serene, and it stirred something deep within him. "This is incredible," Jack breathed, stepping closer to examine the details. "I think this might be the one." "Why?" Emma asked, her curiosity piqued. Jack traced his fingers along the edges, feeling the texture of the paint. "It tells a story. It's not just a landscape. It's a testament to everything your grandma believed in: balance, beauty, and the idea that life can be complex but still beautiful." Emma looked up at him, her expression serious. "Do you think she wanted us to find it?" "I think she wanted us to find ourselves," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "To remember the beauty in life even when things seem dark, and to always look for the stories worth telling." Inspired, Jack packed the canvases carefully back into the box, the weight of the world lifting ever so slightly with the knowledge that amidst their struggles, they had uncovered a treasure far beyond monetary value. They had a connection, a legacy that tied them to Jack's mother, a reminder that they were never alone. As they exited the storage unit, sunlight poured down, warming their skin. Jack glanced at Emma, who wore a beaming smile, her excitement palpable. "What now? Are we going to sell them right now?" "Not yet," he chuckled, ruffling her hair. "First, we should find someone who can appraise the paintings. We need to understand their true worth before making any decisions." "Will it take a long time?" she asked, her impatience surfacing. "Maybe a little," he replied, feeling a flicker of apprehension. "But I promise it'll be worth it. We'll find the right person." As they walked back to their car, the enormity of what they had just discovered began to sink in. Jack felt a surge of gratitude wash over him. Gratitude for Emma, for his mother's legacy, and for the possibility of a brighter future. "Maybe we can go to that art gallery downtown," Emma suggested, her eyes wide with possibility. "They have people there who know about paintings." "That's a great idea," Jack agreed. "Let's see if they can help us." On the drive to the gallery, Emma babbled excitedly about the different colors and the stories she imagined the paintings told. Jack couldn't help but smile at her infectious enthusiasm. It reminded him of the times they had spent together before the eviction. Mornings filled with pancakes and afternoons filled with stories. "Hey, Em," he asked, glancing over at her as they stopped at a red light. "What do you think we should do if the paintings are worth a lot?" "Buy new clothes," she exclaimed, giggling at her own simplicity. "And treats, and then a dog." Jack laughed, imagining the chaos of a dog running around their new home, tails wagging and toys strewn about. And what about savings? A new place to live? Emma thought for a moment, her brow furrowing. That too, a really nice place with a yard. Exactly, Jack replied, his heart swelling with pride for her maturity. We'll have to be smart about it, but I promise you, no matter what happens, we'll make it work. As they arrived at the gallery, Jack felt a wave of nerves wash over him. What if the paintings weren't worth as much as they hoped? What if they didn't sell? But then he looked over at Emma, her face alight with wonder as she gazed at the building's impressive facade. "Ready?" he asked. "Ready," she chirped, her enthusiasm infectious. They stepped inside, greeted by the cool air and the smell of varnish and paint. The gallery was bright and airy, filled with artwork that spoke volumes. Emma's gaze darted around, her eyes sparkling with possibilities. Jack approached the front desk, where a young woman was busy sorting through papers. "Excuse me," he began, trying to keep his voice steady. "We have some paintings we'd like to get appraised." The woman looked up, her interest piqued. "Of course, do you have them with you?" "Yes, they're in the car." Jack gestured to Emma, who was practically bouncing on her heels. "My daughter and I found them in a storage unit that belonged to my mother." "Absolutely, let me know when you're ready and we can take a look. I'm Clara, by the way." "Jack, and this is Emma. Nice to meet you both." Clara smiled warmly. "Wait here and I'll grab one of our art specialists." As they waited, Emma tugged on Jack's sleeve. "Do you think they'll really like them?" "I think they will," he replied, his heart filled with hope. "But no matter what happens, we've already found something priceless. Like a treasure," Emma declared, her face lighting up with excitement. "Exactly," Jack agreed, feeling grateful for her unwavering spirit. "No matter the outcome, we've got each other, and that's the true treasure." Moments later, a tall man with round glasses approached them, his demeanor warm and inviting. "Hi there, I'm David," he said, extending a hand. "I hear you have some paintings to show us." "Yes, we do," Jack replied, feeling a mix of anticipation and nervousness. "They belong to my mother." "Let's take a look," David said, guiding them to a spacious room filled with natural light. As Jack and Emma began to unveil the canvases, the room filled with a silence that felt heavy with possibility. David studied each piece carefully, his brow furrowing with concentration. Emma's eyes darted between her father and the paintings, her excitement palpable. After what felt like an eternity, David stepped back, a smile breaking across his face. "These are stunning. You've got something truly remarkable here." Jack's heart raced, a wave of relief washing over him. "You think they're worth something?" David nodded, his enthusiasm contagious. "Absolutely. I'll need to do a more formal appraisal, but I can tell you they have significant artistic value. Your mother was clearly an astute collector." Emma squealed in delight, her joy echoing through the gallery. "We're going to be rich, Dad." Jack couldn't help but laugh, his heart swelling with pride for Emma's unwavering hope. "Let's take it." As the excitement from David's appraisal lingered in the air, Jack felt an overwhelming swell of emotions. It was as though a dam had broken, unleashing a torrent of hope and possibility. He glanced at Emma, who was practically bouncing on her toes, her eyes wide with anticipation. It was a beautiful sight, her innocence and joy shining through the uncertainty that had enveloped their lives for far too long. "Can you tell us more about them?" Jack asked, eager to grasp this moment, to anchor himself in the reality that their fortunes might be changing. "Of course," David said enthusiastically, gesturing for Jack and Emma to follow him over to a sunlit corner of the gallery. "Let's start with this one." He pointed to the canvas depicting the serene meadow bursting with wildflowers. "This piece is particularly striking. The use of color and light is captivating, It draws you in, doesn't it? It really does. Emma chimed in, her voice bubbling with excitement. I can almost hear the flowers singing. Jack smiled at his daughter's imagination. You're right, Em. It feels alive, doesn't it? David nodded, his eyes sparkling with appreciation for Emma's perspective. That's exactly it. The artist captures movement and emotion in a way that makes the viewer feel part of the scene. Jack's heart raced at the validation of his mother's legacy. Do you really think it could be worth a lot? David paused, his expression turning serious. I believe it could be worth thousands, possibly tens of thousands, depending on the artist and the historical context. I'll need to conduct a thorough appraisal to give you a more accurate estimate. He glanced at Emma, who was still captivated by the painting. What do you think, young lady? Would you like to see the other pieces? Yes, please, Emma exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. One by one, they unveiled the rest of the canvases, and with each painting, David provided insights into the techniques, the emotional undertones, and the stories behind the art. Jack listened intently, trying to absorb everything, while Emma's questions flowed freely. David, do you think my grandma knew the artists? Emma asked, curiosity radiating from her bright blue eyes. It's possible, David replied, pausing to consider. Collectors often build relationships with artists, especially if they're passionate about the work. Your grandmother might have had some fascinating stories. Jack felt the warmth of nostalgia wash over him. She loved art, that much I know. I remember her taking me to galleries when I was younger, explaining how each piece told a different story. It was one of the few things that truly made her come alive. David nodded thoughtfully. Art has a way of connecting us, bridging generations. It seems like your mother left behind not just these beautiful paintings, but a legacy of connection and passion as well. As the appraisal continued, Jack felt the weight of his mother's presence surround him like a gentle embrace. The paintings were more than mere canvases. They were a testament to her spirit, her dreams, and perhaps the hope she had for Jack and Emma. After David completed his initial examination, he turned to Jack, his face glowing with enthusiasm. I'd like to take these back to the studio for a more detailed analysis. We'll authenticate them and prepare a formal appraisal report. If everything checks out, I have a few connections in the art market that might be interested. Jack's heart raced at the prospect. How long will this take? David glanced at his watch. I can have a preliminary report for you in about a week. After that, we can discuss next steps and potential buyers. That sounds fantastic, Jack said, his mind whirling with possibilities. Thank you so much, David. You've given us hope. Emma squeezed her father's hand, her eyes sparkling. Does this mean we can get the dog now? Jack chuckled, his heart filling with warmth. Well, I think we should wait until we know more, but I promise a dog is definitely on the list. As they prepared to leave the gallery, Jack felt a sense of gratitude wash over him. Not just for the potential windfall, but for the moments shared with Emma, the rekindled connection to his mother, and the sparkle of hope that had returned to their lives. Can we go grab ice cream? Emma asked as they stepped outside, the sun casting a warm glow over the bustling street. Jack's heart swelled at her request. Absolutely. Ice cream is definitely in order after such an adventure. As they strolled hand in hand toward the nearby ice cream parlor, the world felt a little lighter. The vibrant colors of the city came alive around them, the laughter of children playing in the park, the sense of street food wafting through the air, and the animated chatter of passers-by. It was a beautiful day, and for the first time in what felt like ages, Jack allowed himself to bask in the joy of the moment. Dad, do you think Grandma would be proud of us? Emma asked as they settled onto a bench with their ice cream cones, the creamy goodness melting slowly under the sun. Jack took a moment to reflect. I think she'd be proud of the way we're facing challenges together. She always believed in love, family, and the power of dreams. And look at us. We're going on an adventure just like she would have wanted. Emma took a big bite of her ice cream, her face lighting up with delight as the cold sweetness melted on her tongue. "Do you think she's watching us?" she asked, her expression thoughtful. "I do," Jack replied softly. "I believe she's always with us in our hearts, and in every piece of art we discover she's there, encouraging us to keep dreaming." They finished their ice creams, laughter and conversation flowing freely as they shared stories of their favorite memories with Jack's mother. Emma recounted the time her grandmother had taken her to a paint-your-own pottery class, where they had painted colorful mugs that still sat in their kitchen cabinet. "She said they were masterpieces because we made them together," Emma beamed. "Exactly," Jack said, his heart swelling with love. "Art is about connection. It's not just about the end result. It's about the moments we share and the stories we tell along the way." As they walked back to their temporary home, Jack felt lighter, buoyed by the love that surrounded them. The uncertainty of their situation still loomed, but the painting expedition had ignited a spark of hope that he had thought extinguished. Over the course of the week, Jack and Emma filled their days with preparations, packing up their life in the cramped motel room, making plans for what they would do with the windfall whenever it came. They visited the local dog shelter multiple times, dreaming of the perfect furry companion to join their new adventures. On the seventh day, the anticipation felt like a storm brewing in Jack's chest, and Emma could hardly contain her excitement. "Do you think David has news for us?" she asked, her eyes shining with curiosity. "I hope so," Jack replied, taking a deep breath to steady his nerves. He had spent the last week oscillating between hope and anxiety, but today felt different. Today felt promising. "Let's go," Emma urged, practically dragging him toward the gallery. When they arrived, the familiar scent of varnish and paint welcomed them. Clara greeted them at the front desk, her smile brightening the room. "Hi, Jack. Hi, Emma. David is expecting you. He's in his office." With anxious anticipation, they made their way to David's office, and as they entered, they found him standing over a large table filled with papers and the paintings carefully laid out. "Jack, Emma," David called out, his face alight with excitement. "I have some wonderful news." Jack's heart raced as he approached the table. "What is it?" David cleared his throat, his smile widening. "I've completed the appraisal, and I must say, your mother had quite the collection. These paintings are by a little-known but incredibly talented artist. After several consultations with leading experts, I can confidently say they are worth significantly more than I initially estimated." Emma clapped her hands, her joy spilling over. "How much? How much?" "Let's just say," David continued, his eyes sparkling, "you could potentially see values in the range of hundreds of thousands. It's extraordinary." Jack felt his knees weaken as the weight of the news sunk in. "Are you serious?" "Completely. I can help facilitate the sale, whether you want to auction them off or find private buyers. The art market is buzzing right now, and I have contacts who are very interested." For a moment, the world around Jack blurred, and he struggled to find words. "This could change everything," he whispered, feeling a wave of both relief and disbelief wash over him. "Are we really going to be rich, Dad?" Emma asked, her voice barely above a whisper, disbelief etched across her young features. Jack knelt beside her, cupping her face in his hands. "Rich in more ways than just money, Em. Every piece of art we discovered isn't just valuable. They're a connection to Grandma, to our journey together. And yes, we can use this to find a new home, to get that dog, and to create new memories." Emma's eyes sparkled with excitement, her smile stretching wider than Jack had ever seen. "We can have so many adventures.